I still remember clearly, like it was last night, the first time I heard the first multi-scale Dingwall bass being played live. It was an experience I'll never forget. My name's Sheldon Dingwall. My company's Dingwall Guitars, and we have been building electric bass guitars here in Saskatoon for the last 40 years, and we ship them all over the world. Saskatoon is our home. It's also the birthplace of the Canadian electric guitar industry. 1962, Glenn McDougall started Fury Guitar in his basement. Just knowing that that was his start, it never occurred to me that I couldn't do it too. You know, he started small, I could start small. What Glenn taught me was this Saskatchewan do-it-yourself kind of attitude. First guitar I ever built, they came in stages. Eddie Van Halen hit the scene, and so all of a sudden, there's this thing called a whammy bar on a guitar where you could control the pitch of the entire guitar just with this lever. The trouble is that on traditional designs, they go out of tune. And there was this rumor I heard of this new bridge called the Floyd Rose. You tune it, you never have to tune it again. Being a young musician, I couldn't afford one, and they weren't available in Canada anyway, so a friend of mine and I set out to design our own. I joined a band and I toured across Western Canada using this bridge, and every time I'd come back for, let's say, a few weeks, I'd build another part. So then it was a neck, and then it was a body, and eventually was playing my own designs and road testing them. Hearing my first guitar for the very first time and liking what I heard, liking what I felt. It was a pretty amazing experience. I still feel that way today. We starved for the first 20 years. The only people that bought our basses were engineers who didn't care about being cool. They cared about the performance and the design process. And so those guys kept us alive. You know, as soon as you build one thing, the first call you get is from somebody wanting something else that's adjacent to what you just worked on. And so we were getting a lot of bass requests from people looking for a 5-string bass, but I don't play bass, didn't come from the bass world. And so I was like, I don't think I can help you guys. But, you know, then I wake up in the middle of the night going, well, there's gotta be a solution. There's gotta be a solution. Pianos have great sounding beats. There's gotta be a solution. Very quickly, it was determined that scale length is very, very important. Then all of a sudden, a switch was flipped. The basses were taking off. I needed more space. And so I found space in the Uncle Ed's building. Had a call at 7 o'clock in the morning, pick up the phone, and it was a friend of mine said, Sheldon. I said, yeah. Have you heard the news? What news? Uncle Ed's. Yeah, what about it? It's on fire. At that point, not a lot of thought. I got to the site, and there were fire trucks there, but there was a little tiny puff of smoke way on the other side of the building. I thought, oh my God, I feel so lucky. And for whatever reason, it progressed to be more than just that little puff of smoke. It eventually consumed the building, and it became the largest fire in Saskatoon's history. It filled up with gas and then exploded. It was kind of a weird experience to be watching your life burn to the ground, being surrounded by people that were there for the entertainment value. When I got home, my wife at the time was holding our 1-year-old daughter. And I walked in and I looked at them and I went, I feel like the luckiest guy in the world. They survived. I've survived. We have a warm bed to sleep in tonight. The rest we can deal with tomorrow. I wasn't sure I wanted to get back into business. I wasn't making a lot of money. I was working really long, hard hours. I was dealing with the shock and trying to pick up all the pieces. It was actually not me that decided, hey, I'm gonna get back into business.
You could hear the sound of blues last night at Lydia's Pub on Broadway. And if anyone could relate to the blues, it's this guy, Sheldon Dingwall.
Somebody's affected negatively when the bottom falls out for them. The artists get together and they help support. I think it was Corey Hildebrand who spearheaded putting together a benefit at Lydia's. A bunch of bands got together, and I was there, but I just didn't feel comfortable being inside the venue, so I kind of just hung out outside. That was about as much as I could handle at that point. It struck me that there were other small businesses in that building that lost everything as well. I shared some of the proceeds with some of the smaller businesses, and that again was support that was like, okay, I appreciate the support and I feel more strength and more commitment to pick things back up again. I really love where things are now. In my first business plan in 1990, I talked about how I wanted to travel the world with my industry, and now I get to do that. And I really get to experience our customers' stories, and that's some of the most meaningful moments I've had is hearing from customers and how our bases have affected their lives and made them better and allowed them to create music they never thought they could create. And that music has permanence, and it's gone on to make their audience, give them pleasure, and then they go home and they're in a better mood. There's this chain of positive effects that I really like.